can cut it out, but save the file so we have it for blackmail.
That's good.
Okay.
That's
Real
is that
quick-
actually how this business is?
No. Hey, my name is Robert,
And my name is Nathan.
and we are Mom said no Productions.
Yeah.
And today we have a guest star.
Hi guys, my name is Baron, and I'm the guest star.
Baron is a very good friend of ours. We've made a film with him. It's actually in the background right now. It's called I Think We Should Talk. He did an amazing job. And Baron's my dad
Thank you.
sometimes.
That's very kind of you to say. I had a lot of fun making that film with you guys.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. So, first of all, I really want to thank everyone for who checked out the first 2 episodes of the podcast. Looking forward to doing more, and we will have more guest stars if they're cool.
Only cool people.
Cool people only. Yeah.
Cool people only. Yeah.
Only cool people talk about what we're gonna talk about next.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Going into that, spoiler warning for Superman 1978 and the Superman 2025. I'll leave it up to you guys. Which one do you want to talk about first? I just watched Superman 1978 recently, so I don't know if you want to start out with that one or.
I feel like it makes no sense to talk about 2025 first and then do. I feel like we started 78, right?
That's true. All right, we'll
Yeah,
start on
chronologically.
78 then.
Especially
So-
fresh in your head too.
Not the first Superman movie, but the
It's
first
the
one
first
that people
big one.
know. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you guys think of it?
I love the Donner film. I even like the shit before it though too, which if I can just I don't know if you guys have seen Superman and the Mole Man, but it's a bop from 1953 with George Reeves. It's pretty good.
I actually have not seen that one.
It's actually really bad, but
Oh.
it is technically the first Superman movie. And the Fleischer cartoons are really good if you guys have seen those.
Oh yeah, those are fire. I think that's actually my favorite Superman suit too.
It's a
The
good
iconic-
suit.
Yeah, with the iconic gold frame, and then they still have the black and red too.
Yeah, well, I love the Donner film. I watched it as a kid a lot, and I rewatched it about a year ago. And I think it's rare when I'm watching a movie and it makes me, the marketing for that film was, you'll believe a man can fly, and that movie feels very magical to me. That's the word that I would use for it. How do you guys feel about it?
That's a good way to put it. I think that was before VFX kind of took hold, especially those shots of him flying around. I think they just hoisted him up and then just had an actual screen behind him. But it looks very believable for the time that it came out, 1978. If I put myself back then, it does look pretty crazy.
I believe it's comped in. I think he's in front of the screen for a lot of that. So it's not
so I'm just-
technically in camera, but a lot of that is in camera.
Yeah. I also like the effect they did, even though I have mixed feelings about it. But towards the ending, when he goes back in time and you see him twirl around the earth and everything, and there's that little animation they did too. I think the special
Yeah.
effects in general in the movie are pretty nice looking.
Well, I feel like it's not even you're like, oh, the special effects in the latest, I don't know, Marvel film. That's, people say that. I don't know. Maybe people say that. But the storytelling feels so.
It has
This-
genuine
this-
heart to it.
Well, yeah, but the special effects support that. The special
For
effects are
sure.
very realistic and believable and kind of get that magical feeling. And then that magical feeling from how believable the effects are kind of translates into the storytelling. I just feel like they go really hand in hand, the effects and the storytelling.
Oh, I mean, I was just gonna mention how the effects fit perfectly with the tone the movie's going for, too. Because one of the things I like most about the film is when on my rewatch too, I kind of forget how comical the whole thing is too.
Like a screwball comedy.
Yeah, basically, especially all the stuff with Lex Luthor is
Yeah.
a textbook villain from that could easily fit into or kind of fit into that 60s Batman show,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's very conniving.
I get that. He felt very Silver Age to me.
Yes, he does have that vibe. I like Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. He's not my favorite, and it's something about it doesn't quite totally work for me. But Superman as a character, and Christopher Reeve works so well that it doesn't matter. I kind of think of the film as perfect, even though it's I think that's a bit of a weakness for me, is Gene Hackman as the villain.
Personally, he was a bit more comical than the Lex I was used to, especially from the Gene Hackman performances I was more used to too. Even though I know he's like gone on record for like liking to do more comical and like comedic roles because like that's more fun for him as well. But just the whole like screwball, for lack of a better word, aspect he had with like his goons and Eve Tashmaster too, which I thought it was both charming. It was just Toshmacher, yeah, exactly.
Tashmacher.
Which I thought was comical. It was just like something I wasn't expecting for Lex Luthor, so it took me some time to get used to. Is what I'm saying overall about his performance.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. It has a certain charm, I think. Like the whole, like,
Yes.
I think the movie in general has a very like homey type of charm to it. You could tell it's a big budget film, but also like you could tell it has a lot of heart behind like each and
Yes.
every scene that they do.
I really like that introduction on Krypton. It is too long.
Yeah,
It is like there's no argument that like it is too long. But it just looks like they spent a gajillion dollars on destroying Krypton, and I just love all the people falling into like the chasms.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Not to say the same thing too. I'm like rewatching it. I forgot how like morbid like the destruction of Krypton is. It isn't just like
Yeah.
one explosion. People are falling. Stuff is burning. Like, oh my gosh.
And I know we're probably not going to talk about Man of Steel very much, but like Man of Steel has that like they also have like a way too long Krypton sequence.
yeah,
And they went for like a sci-fi war movie or something, and it's like fun, but like there's just such a charming whatever filter they're using in the 70s, that sort of almost like a gauze over the lens. There's this like super soft focus and bloom to the look. It feels
Exactly.
like they nailed the tone. Like it's
Yeah.
like a little bit goofy, it's a little bit silly, but like it's also so earnest. I think my favorite part of the whole film is that Krypton sequence and the Smallville stuff. And there's just this like there's this kind of really cool Americana to it of like the
What
fucking
makes you feel proud to be American, Baron?
yeah, I don't know, like the Midwest, the farm, and like he's an immigrant. It's like the
Yeah,
immigrant
yeah, yeah.
experience. Like it's the have you guys like the Norman Rockwell kind of thing it's got going on.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty consciously trying to ape that. It's same with have you guys read Superman for All Seasons? Loeb
Yeah.
and Sale. Yeah, it's that. I love that like 1940s kind of artwork look, and I think that they really nailed it in this movie.
Okay.
Sure, especially that kind of like it's just a very homey feel. The comic you just mentioned too is probably one of my favorite looking comics because of the colors in it too. But down to I think the Smallville sequence is also my favorite in the film too, especially like showing the amount of nuance in it. Like you even get that small scene of like Clark randomly like running fast home and then kind of like trying
Next
to
to the
flex to
train?
the other jocks. Yeah, exactly. And then his dad is literally just there off camera saying like, "Oh, you like showing off, huh?" The camera literally just pans to him too. I thought it was like a funny scene, but yeah, it's just a very overall like homey vibe. I think, which is why like I really like the first half of the film
Mhm.
overall.
And I really, I was really grateful that Zack Snyder improved upon Pa Kent's death in Man of Steel.
yeah,
where he
yeah,
gets
of course.
sucked into into the tornado, and he
Yeah.
says, holds up his hand. I think that was way better than Pa Kent having a heart attack and showing how Superman, even though he's Superman, he can't. That's boring, right?
Yeah,
like
of course.
that's the tornado is way cooler.
We
in
need
Man
a lot of
Steel.
action,
Yeah.
like in all of our
Yeah.
movies. Like we don't need
Yeah.
any character development, any emotional beats. We don't need that. Just straight action, straight destruction.
You can even
Agreed.
use that same philosophy towards like the ending of this Superman film too. Is like, what was Superman supposed to do? Let Lois Lane die? Like, I bet Pa Kent would have said, yeah.
I was so confused on like he got up into the sky and then just started turning back time.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know how I
physics,
didn't know
dude.
that.
It's
Oh my bad, dude.
physics.
I need to read a physics book, dude. Shit, man.
I mean, you've read a Flash comic. You've seen a Flash thing before.
Yeah,
Like,
but
he
it's
does that
so
all the
like
time.
it's so crazy that they did that in 1978 in a Superman movie. It was like the most unexpected thing, which is crazy that I didn't know that until I watched the film recently.
What is
mean-
crazy, dude? It may like the Earth spins one way. We're moving forward in time. If you were to make it go the other way,
Obviously,
we
we'd
would
go back in time. Yeah,
That's science.
Which
I
is
see.
another reason why the Earth is round.
Yeah.
Just think about a globe, right? Just spin it the other way, dude. It's the same fucking thing, you know?
Like,
I love it. People clown on it, and they're right to clown on it because it's funny. But I
But it
love
is very comic booky, huh? Like it's
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
like comic
It
booky
makes-
Silver Age like type
it
logic.
really just made me realize too, like as we're talking about this, most of the source material they had to go through, like while making this movie, was just Silver Age Superman
Mhm.
comics. So of course, like that scene would feel so in character.
Yeah, of course he would just fly around the Earth in the opposite direction. That's probably something
Well,
he
'cause-
did do. Yeah.
They didn't do any, and I don't fault them for this because no adaptation do this. DC's been doing this Essentials line.
Yeah.
No, that's the smaller one. I'm
Oh.
trying to remember the name of the line, but they released the first few years of
Oh, the
Superman
DC
comics.
Finest.
DC Finest,
Yeah.
exactly. I was reading through like the first, I think it's like the first 30 issues are collected in this first one. And it's all like Superman battling like in favor for like labor rights, you know, and like or like Superman campaigns against drunk driving, you know,
Yeah.
like it's very down home shit, which I love. But you know that's not what they're drawing from. Like you're saying, they're drawing from the Silver Age, which I'm not as familiar with, but I know is a little bit kookier stuff, right? That's kind of what they're
Yeah.
mining for this film. I feel like.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think it shows with just even how comical like some of the characters are. Like I think okay, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really like Lois Lane's character in this film. I don't know how you
Ooh,
guys
tell
felt
me,
about it.
Really?
yeah, lay that out for us. Like, what-
It was very indicative of the time. Holy shit, this might get cut out. I think that Lois, she just felt like an accessory to Clark. Like she didn't feel like her own character. Like the entire time, she was just basically thirsting over Superman, but in a way that was like too obsessive. Like that's her entire character, kind of.
That's
how I
crazy because I
felt.
low-key feel the opposite. The way I saw it was like also looking at her interactions with Clark Kent too. I feel like it came more from a place of admiration than like head over heels over him, because this was someone who was like very genuine, and like we're gonna get to it later too with like Superman 25, but I feel like it really matches that same sense where she's a very like headstrong reporter that's always about like the next story too. I feel like she's like a very like solid character, and like
I see.
even in the 78 film too, like she has a very notable attitude to her too that like didn't make her seem like any other like female protagonist, if that made sense.
I see what you're saying, Robert. I like she does
Yeah.
sort of a lot of what she does is like being into Superman, but I feel like Lois Lane is a character they really struggle with in a lot of
Mhm.
adaptations. I think that I think easily the worst was Superman Returns. I thought they did a terrible job with
Is it Natalie Portman? Am I crazy?
No,
it's
it's
not Natalie Portman.
it's
I am crazy.
oh my god, can't we just look it up? We live in the
Look-
we live in the
I'll-
future,
I'll
don't we?
look it up.
Logan, our guy in the chair. Can you look that up for us?
Hey,
Oh, it's-
Jamie, can you
it's Kate
Jamie, can you
Bosworth.
pull up the video?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like 21 too, which is feels so wrong for that character. I really like Margot Kidder as an actress, and
Uh-huh.
I think that her chemistry with Christopher Reeve is really good, and I really like their scene on the roof and like the romantic interplay with them and all that.
Yeah.
So I agree with what you're saying. I just think that I like the performance a lot and I like the character. And I don't know, I love when they're like, you know, like that kind of screwball comedy around like the Daily Planet off. I don't know, it's funny.
Yeah.
You know. What did she say? She's like she can't smell or she can't spell like manslaughter or
Yeah.
She
something,
can't spell like some word, and it's like a
And
really
then she asked
trivial
Jimmy
word.
Olsen to help her.
Yeah.
It's cute. I don't know. I like it.
Yeah.
I really did like at the end when she was like trying to connect the dots of like Clark being Superman. She's like, nah, like there's no way, you know, like
No way.
we haven't really talked about it, but how do you guys feel about Christopher Reeve as Superman?
I love Christopher Reeve as Superman. I think he's kind of like every other person that plays Superman is kind of judged against him.
Yeah.
Because he's like he's a very handsome man. He has like alpha male looks or something, but he doesn't but the vibes are good. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, like he's very soft, but like not in like
Yeah.
a negative way. He's just a very kind soul, I think is the best way to put it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I really like that. And Christopher Reeve strikes me that as like that kind of person. I listened to a audio book that he recorded before he passed away that like related his experience like post his accident and like his recovery and like how hopeful he was, and like I was just like, man, this is like a really cool dude, and I think that that shines through in the performance, and you just like him. I would be hard pressed. I mean, maybe one of you will disagree with this. I'd be surprised, but I mean, like, I feel like people who watch 78 Superman, they're like, I like that guy. You know, like you don't watch that and you're like, I don't like him.
For me, he's like truly like the highlight of the film for me. That even like he was the main reason why I watched the film too, because his personality is just shining. I feel like he does a very nice contrast between Superman and Clark Kent too, like down to like difference in their mannerisms. And the main thing I took about why I love his performance so much is even look at interviews about how he talks about Superman, and the simple philosophy he went by when like playing this role was the fact that Superman is just like someone's friend, you know? And you really feel that throughout his performance.
That's true.
Absolutely. And you're right with that. There's that great sequence when they're in Lois's apartment, and Lois is like in the bathroom or something, or you know, she's not in the living room, and you see Clark take off his glasses, and then he like kind of like his posture changes, and he's like considering saying that he's Superman, right? And you just see like the change in his physicality, and you see like, oh, Clark Kent can become Superman just with that like slight change in posture and like losing the glasses. And I think that's really neat.
I'm actually really
Yeah.
glad you touched upon that. I genuinely love that. Like you can clearly tell there's a distinct difference between Clark Kent and Superman. That's I kind of didn't really like 25 in the aspect of like the hypno glasses when they brought it up, and like it just didn't sell me as much as like this film, where it's like he really didn't even change much about his appearance. He just stood up a little taller and acted with a little more confidence, but you felt it. I felt it extremely hard. Like I was literally like, holy shit, like this is so different.
I mean, even in the Daily Planet scene too, like Clark Kent's dropping his papers everywhere. He's clumsy.
Yeah.
Like that's perfect. I feel like a really like great scene and a good display of his strength too is when he has that kryptonite chain necklace or like chain on him that Lex Luthor puts on him towards the end of the film, and just him struggling to took that off like was really I found it to be a really powerful scene, not only acted but also like as a nice way to show his struggle and like his like genuine strength and physique too. I thought
While he was like
really
literally
nice.
drowning.
Yeah,
Like-
exactly.
Well, it's cool that like they make like a normal pool threatening to
Yeah.
Superman because of kryptonite, right? Like
it feels very
sells-
comical, you know? Like they might as well just put him in a kiddie pool. Like
Right, but it's comical. But I mean, you're also like you're worried for him. You know, and I just think it highlights like how much kryptonite affects him, and how much that weakness is that it makes something that is seemingly non-threatening extremely threatening, and it's just a swimming pool.
I really did like that, because I feel like a lot of modern adaptations, like a lot of the villains, they kind of just wave a piece of kryptonite in his face and he just like drops down on the floor. But like I thought it was pretty cool how he literally made the chain, like you said, he tied it, put it around his neck and threw him into a fucking pool. Like it adds like a certain bit of like realism in like if you had a heavy chain around your neck, I think you would also be struggling to fucking breathe for air, you know? Like, and I did kind of like that as well, yeah.
There's kind of a simplicity to it that's different than like the Dark Knight Returns / Batman v Superman Batman, where he's got the like fucking gas darts and like all of his Krypton gadgets of like any way that you can, any form that you can put kryptonite into, you know, to get it across. Yeah, it's cool. He's just like, you know what, I'm gonna put it on a chain and then throw him in a pool.
Even the lead up to that like whole like was it plan 2 is also I thought pretty clever too. The fact that like, oh, he wants to play into like Superman's like, oh, you think you wouldn't I wouldn't notice, like, was it this one chest over here that I can't see through? And then he opens it too because Lex wants him to open it, and then that's when the kryptonite happens. And
it's the lead lined box, right? And he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's
oh,
a
you
lead
think
lined
I
box.
wouldn't notice that this is lead lined, and then he
Yeah.
opens it, and then wow.
I think that he's a lot more like clever, because I feel like a lot of adaptations of Lex Luthor, they kind of just focus on like him being hyper smart and like, but like that's like the core of it, right? Where he's like they have to like overcompensate by showing how smart he is, where it's like Gene Hackman's Lex, I feel like that was a very basic concept, but he like did it in like a very fun, like I outsmarted you by literally like such a simple thing, and I used your own like pride against you. I don't even know if it's pride, but like it was a very ironic thing, I think.
I think it's like a confidence thing. He's like, oh, I can see through your ploy, but actually no, it's you're playing right into it.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in like throughout the whole movie too, like most of Superman's like rescues are effortless too. I mean, you get that whole montage of him saving people and like not him having a single struggle, so when he finally struggles it feels that much more impactful. And also on top of that too, going back to like the whole scene with the kryptonite chain, reason why that scene was so much more thrilling is you have to keep in mind that he had 2 missiles to stop too in like 2 separate parts of like the United States,
Yeah.
on top of getting that kryptonite out, which I was also think was a very like nice writing choice too, to add like more stakes to the whole like climax.
It's like Tom Cruise in a Mission Impossible movie. There's always 2 nukes. You know, you always got to stop 2 because one's too easy.
Well,
but
where do you think they got the inspiration from?
I think they got the inspiration from Superman 1978. Never
Exactly.
before had there been 2 bombs in one movie.
Of course not.
It had never
Yeah.
happened.
Except when Mission Impossible does it, you have to have like 20 different steps to get through that.
Yes.
Those 2 bombs too.
And then somebody has to take off their face, revealing that they're actually another character.
And like he'll have like a different girlfriend at like each bomb, you know, like which one will you save, Tom? You know,
Exactly. You got Tom's baby mama, and you got Tom's actual current girlfriend. You know. Yeah.
I know it's not relevant to this. I wish I liked the Mission Impossible movies more. I feel like they have a lot of cool sequences, but I'm just like the fucking storytelling. Just I struggle with it.
I get what you mean too. I personally fell off of them after Fallout because they
Yeah.
got a little bit too convoluted for me.
Yeah.
For what is really just like an action movie with
Right.
like really nice stunts, you know.
I think I only watched the first 3, but like I kind of liked how comical they were, and then I took a big gap, and then all of a sudden I watched like I think Ghost Protocol was the first one I watched like after a while, and I was like, dude, this franchise has changed like astronomically. Like,
Yes.
yeah, I think the first 3 were very like funny and like kind of campy in a way, and then like you just got like super serious like out of nowhere.
It's literally going from like the first half of the Harry Potter movies to the second half of the Harry Potter movies.
So
in a
wait, yeah,
sense.
you're actually 100% fucking right. But like maybe that has to do with like the state of film, like how films have evolved over time.
I
That's-
also oh sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say you bring up a really great point talking about Harry Potter. Do we want to maybe share our views on J.K. Rowling?
I mean, I'd be down.
You know, I don't condone anything J.K. Rowling has said, but you know, the
What
first
about
couple
like
books
a
were pretty
nice?
good.
What if she said like a nice thing?
If she said a nice thing, then you know, I'll let it slide. But you know, I feel like a lot of what J.K. Rowling has said has not been very nice things.
I bought a used copy of Hogwarts Legacy so that
Oh, okay.
witch couldn't get her claws
She
on
wouldn't
my
get
money.
the money. I see. Did you actually like the game? Like, is it a fun game?
I haven't played it yet.
Oh, okay.
I bought it for my girlfriend because she loves Harry Potter, but she hasn't
Right.
played it yet, which hurts my fifis. But
Well, then that's why
Gonna
you
listen to this, so.
turn on the PlayStation or whatever you have, Xbox, and you play it.
yeah, but then it's Harry Potter, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm an adult, you know.
I guess there's a lot of Harry Potter adults.
I read
don't
Superman
know.
comics, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I'm a mature adult.
Exactly. I'm like, if you think about it too, like you're literally too old for Hogwarts. I mean, you would have graduated already, so
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll be a professor.
I can see that, Professor
Yeah.
Barron.
Professor Barron at Hogwarts teaching
What
was
do you
it
teach?
Quidditch?
Oh, I don't think I would do Quidditch.
I think
would fall off
Barron
the
would teach like
broom.
history before
Yeah,
like
thank you.
19
Yeah.
like 50s history.
That means you have to
Yeah.
explain all the Fantastic Beasts movies to your students.
That would be rough. That would be the hardest job. That would be a really hard job, especially because they stopped 3 movies into however many they were gonna make.
Right.
I mean, you literally also have to explain why in the third section of that arc, why Grindelwald doesn't look like Johnny Depp anymore, and he looks like was it Mads Mikkelsen?
Well, he goes from Colin Farrell to Johnny Depp to Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, there you go.
I think it's a fire evolution, man. I don't know.
I
Like, you'd
mean,
have to
Mads is
explain
better
that in
than
more.
Johnny. Like, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna argue with that.
Yeah. Going back to Superman. So, Nate, I don't think you said so. You like Superman 1978? Like you genuinely like the film?
It's a solid 8 out of 10 for me. Most of my gripes about the film usually comes from I feel like there's a bit that can be cut out. Like, for example, I feel like, of course, the Krypton sequence goes on a bit too long. The whole montage of him saving people went on as heartwarming as it was, like, it got a bit redundant after the fourth time saving someone, even though I do love that scene where he saves the cat from the tree and then he returns to that girl. Yeah, I think it's really just a pacing issue for me overall, but I'll explain this later too when we get to like the 2025 movie. What I began to realize is all the things I love 1978 for is what I felt like was missing in 2025, and the few things I loved Superman 2025 for is the few things I felt like was low-key missing from 78. Even watching 1978 film again too, it was surprisingly like, was it low scale for me too than what I was expecting, but that was also because it was like the first Superman film. But I overall liked how homey it was, and my opinion, most of my gripes also come from me feeling mixed about Gene Hackman as a Lex Luthor, especially knowing him for more dramatic roles, and also the time travel ending in the film, which is like, I understand like tonally it fits with the comicalness of all too, but also like, I don't know, I just have mixed feelings about like how it places itself in the story is, but that's how I feel about Superman 78 overall.
You know what? I actually disagree with you. I actually like the scene of him saving people, like that little montage. I think my problem with it is that it came too late in the movie because we just spent so much time on the first half that like they just had to shove all of Superman into like a little like 10-15 minute montage, and then we just had to keep moving the plot forward.
I really like 78. I think it's probably my favorite Superman movie. I think all the complaints that you said about pacing and length and like the ending being unsatisfying for people, I agree with all of those things. This is why I'm not a good podcast guest.
No, no, it's fine.
Because everybody, because everybody tries to get me on their podcast, but that's a joke. Nobody's tried to get me on their podcast.
Well, we got you on ours. We had
You
to fight
did,
for you, man.
it was a big
I don't
get.
know.
It was a big get.
It was like
we
a
had to fit you
queue,
in your,
man.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. A lot of people were trying to book you too. I heard, like,
I know,
even, like,
I know.
even Jimmy Fallon was trying to get you too.
I know. I had to say no to Jimmy to be here, but that's how much I care about you guys.
Thank you.
Both
Uh,
Jimmys.
I don't get really like, I think as I've gotten older, my opinions about movies have been less like, I can't stand this one thing, and so I'm just like, you know what? I like this meandering Christopher Reeve movie. It's got cool Superman stuff in it. It's not a perfect movie, but the things that it needed to get perfect, Superman as a character, the effects, and just like the tone, it does. So I'm like, I'm good, Yeah, maybe you could chop some time off, but like it got the stuff right that to me I felt like it needed to get right.
You know what? I appreciate that. And you know what? I respect your opinion, Baron.
I respect your opinion.
I haven't said it yet, so hold off on that real quick.
Okay, I rescind that.
Yeah. I think the Superman 78, I wouldn't say I hated it and I wouldn't say I loved it, but I don't even think it's mid. I think it's a fine movie. Like, this is basically what Superman is, like, at its core. And with all my gripes about the pacing, there are some things I really like. I did like the ending sequence where the California was basically blowing up and he was trying to like save everyone from the missiles.
Yeah, it's sick as hell.
Yeah. And then like I liked the kryptonite pool scene. I liked him like saving people, and I liked the little back and forth he had with Lois Lane in her apartment. It was just like there's a lot of things to like. I focus more on those than the stuff I dislike.
That's a good way to do it, in my
Yeah. It was all right, man. It was good. I'm not gonna. I don't know if I'd watch it again, but like I wouldn't say I hated my experience watching this film.
I mean, I'd always go back to this film in general. Like, the reason why it carries most of it for me is just Christopher Reeve's performance as Superman feels so like heartwarming and genuine, is what really like radiated throughout the movie for me. And also, like, just to touch upon like Richard Donner's direction for the whole film too, feels like I could clearly see his voice throughout the film. I know how much he loves Superman and the comics and the character. Like, if anything, out of all the Superman films I've like seen, even over the ones that came out recently too, especially over the Snyder one, I feel like the direction he took with this film, both visually and everything, is like like outshines both of them too, because I feel like it has a very homey feeling to it, and it's a very beautiful looking film too, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the best directed superhero movies. I think.
Mhm.
I think it looks so good. I think that I was watching something with Donner where he was talking about like this kind of David Lean, Lawrence of Arabia, that like grand scale and beauty. And there's that like that cemetery scene. I'm fairly certain they built that cemetery when they're burying Pa Kent, and it's like in the hills, and it's just like such a like I hate to be the like in movies today, because not all movies, but in a lot of movies today, they would do that in a studio or they wouldn't build an actual cemetery for it. And it's a quick scene. It's like a 2-minute scene, and it's just gorgeous. So I totally agree with you.
Yeah, and you bring up a really good point too. I feel like the main like case I have for why I love how this film looks visually over like the other Superman films is just how they capture Smallville too. Looks very what I remember for All Star Superman, looking very warm and homey, which is something I feel like the latter films after it didn't really capture about Smallville. Even on with Metropolis too. Even though as much as I love how Metropolis is captured in 25, I feel like Metropolis here really feels like its own character too, and just like its own like literal Metropolis too. That it is too, from the Daily Planet to like even the exterior shots too.
I did like how like we would get random tidbits from like the random citizens in Metropolis. Like when he changes into the Superman costume and the guy across the street's like, "Oh, whoa," like it's just small little moments like that. It just makes Metropolis feel alive, and I do appreciate that. Overall, I think Superman as a whole, 1978, I can see why it became a cultural phenomenon of the time. Like this screams to me Superman. Like I can see why people compare every single Superman film to this one, because it kind of gets everything right. I think like even the Lex being like wacky and stuff, like, and I think they didn't want him to be like super serious in a movie where the tone isn't super serious to begin with. I don't it just felt kind of real. I think is the word I was gonna say. It felt very realistic in the way that the stakes weren't like, you were not stopping a giant nuclear war, the entire planet's not like gonna blow up. It was like they're gonna hit the San Andreas fault, it's gonna open and it's gonna cause some shit, and he's literally gonna take it over and like capitalize on it. Which the more I talk about it, this is exactly the plot of Superman 25, and I didn't realize that until like 5 minutes ago. But
except what Superman 25 didn't have is his henchmen trying to name a certain city after himself too, Otisburg too, which
that
is
was
like
pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I did enjoy the character of Otis. I think he would not work in like today's realm of film.
Oh, that's funny you mentioned that. Otis is literally in the 25 movie too.
He is? No, he's not.
Yeah, he's the
Careful.
One of like he was
He's with the glasses, right? The thick glasses. Isn't it that?
Yeah,
no. Wait, he is?
No, he's the oh my gosh. He's not the one with the thick glasses. He's the other more professional looking one. He's in Peacemaker too. His name is literally Otis.
I think I know who you're talking about, but I just don't know his name.
Look this up. I'm very curious. Are you sure it's not the thick glasses, man?
No, it's not. He's a more competent one of the, which is funny too. He's like the complete opposite in Superman 2025.
I see.
Oh, it is. Okay, you're right. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Interesting. I did not know that.
And he's in Peacemaker too? Okay, because I recognize, obviously, Glasses Man and Peacemaker.
I think Glasses Man just had more of like urgency in the film. Like that's why we just know him like more, if that makes sense. Like he just comes to mind easier.
But also like the one thing that kept consistent though, just different to 25, is it seems like he's the most loyal of Lex's group too, because compared to the Glasses guy, he doesn't really question anything Lex Luthor says. But yeah, going back to 78 too, I thought Otis was a very funny character that really added to like Lex's dynamic in the film, where he is a very like smart like character. He's just literally surrounded by idiots.
What's it called? That actually, I think we are gonna move on to Superman 2025. I think that's a pretty decent segue into it. What did you guys like briefly think about it. Like, just did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you think it was mid?
I thought it was all right. I mean, I say that, but I don't think it's like a mid movie either. It's kind of like how you feel about Superman 78,
I
where
see.
I don't love it or hate it. It's like a very solid 7 out of 10 movie for me, based on like a lot of factors I'll get into. But I did really love, though, like the main highlights of the film for me was like Nicholas Hoult as Lex, which is easily my favorite Lex Luthor performance too, and like David Cornsweet as Superman 2, all added a very like, I guess, like grounded humanity to him too, and like there's a clear passion for like the source material here that I really like in Superman 2025 overall.
What about you, Baron?
Yeah, I once again I'm going to be extremely boring podcast guest where I don't say I hated this one. I no, I really I was kind of braced to not like Superman 2025. I hadn't been the biggest James Gunn stan. I'm actually not a huge Guardians
Oh,
film fan.
I think that might be your
Uh,
hottest take right there.
Even Guardians
yeah,
3?
no, I really was not a fan. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh,
But
shit.
I went into Superman like, okay, let's, and I really liked it. I thought that it's easily James Gunn's best film. I think it's probably my favorite project of his, which I think you have as a question later in our little agenda. Uh, I really like Superman 2025. I think the performances are awesome. I think tonally, once again, they nail it. And I like the focus on Superman being just like a nice guy, And that's enough for a superhero to just be like a chill dude. I like that.
He's just an average Joe, man. I actually, for me personally, I think this was my favorite out of the two. Like, I glazed this movie like up and down. Nate could tell you. I always say that this is literally like the GOAT for me. I think what it was is that it's a very modern take on Superman that had to like get people to like Superman again in a world where like people are like, oh, Superman's corny, or like Superman should like be killing people. It had to reintroduce the fact that Superman's just a really nice, kind soul, and it had to make that cool, because if you make it like kind of like not cool or like lame, I guess people are gonna be like, oh, this is whack, like what is this, why are we gonna like this? But I think he did it in a way, James Gunn did it in a way where it's very digestible for everyone, where you just feel good watching him on the screen, and I think that's a great accomplishment.
But you do bring up a good point, though. Like, Superman is corny, but that isn't to his fault too. I mean, he literally says golly throughout the movie too, and like everything, because he was raised in Smallville too, and raised like because of his upbringing too. I mean, like, I feel like that's part of his character, and that adds to his character too, because literally, like, no one else is like that, especially like in the environment you put him into too. I think this movie is so in love with Superman in an ironic way, where it made me personally realize how much more of a Batman fan I was. Because of how Superman, like how Superman this movie was. Like, it made me really understand like what I love, like what the character is what I'm basically getting at.
Yeah, so like through watching Superman 2025, you realize that you actually don't like Superman.
I actually absolutely hate Superman. I hate how nice he is.
God.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next thing I
let's
know,
go-
Nate's gonna hit us with the Superman's too woke, dude. I fucking hate that guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. If
he's too
anything,
woke.
like people of like Jar and Poor too, like what's up with that? Like
Yeah. I wonder if there's like a country kind of in the news right now that there's like a parallel there. Bobby, would you want to take a stab at that?
I think, as Mom said, no productions. I think we're gonna cut this part out. But yeah,
Robert,
Cowards.
on the record,
Cowards.
on the record, I
Robert,
think it's clearly Israel versus Palestine, and I think they did an amazing job dropping that fucking Netanyahu clone like 50,000 feet in the sky. I think that was a great fucking scene. But
hey, Robert,
neither
for
here
the
nor
record,
there.
do you think Jar and Poor has a right to the where they live, or Do
Right
that.
to exist.
Your right to exist,
Uh,
yeah.
I think everybody has the right to exist, Nate. I definitely don't think another country should
You would
impose
say all
on,
lives matter, Bobby? Is that what you would say?
Sure. Dude, Baron's a tough guest, man.
I'm sorry. I really like Superman 2025. I agree with what you're saying, Robert, about you hear it so much, like, oh, I don't get why Superman's interesting. Like, he's so boring. He's just super strong, and he's like, "Wah." And I just think it's cool that he's just a chill guy that also struggles with the things. It's kind of this paradox to me, right? Like none of us can relate to like laser vision and like flying and all that those things that he can do, but like his struggles of like accepting his parents for who they are, and and his the fitting in, and like these kind of universal struggles I really connect with. And him just being a chill dude is like, yeah, that's what I'm trying to get out of life. I'm trying to get through life and be a nice guy to people. That's a good overall goal. Whereas I love Batman. I really do love Batman, but it is harder for me to connect with. Not everybody would say this, but it is harder for me to connect with, parents murdered in the alleyway, and I have a mansion and I dress like a bat in it. It's harder to relate to that to me than Superman, even though Superman is literally an alien.
I think what it is like the dichotomy between like Superman is essentially a god, but he lives such a human life,
Yeah, yeah.
And I really do like that. It's you could see yourself in his shoes, literally one boot at a time. That teaser photo that they did when they first revealed the suit, when he was literally putting on one boot at a time, I think it reminds everyone that like Superman is one of us, and that is the core message of the movie, right? That like Superman and everyone, we're no different from each other. We're all just people trying to live and survive at the end of the day.
But it's also like you too can be Superman by just being kind of nice,
Yeah.
Exactly. I that's why I love so much about like the core of Superman's character and philosophy, about the fact that like despite him being alien, he's more human than like most humans out there too, which I find to be like my favorite part about his character too. And I feel like this film really highlights how he has very real struggles, and he's genuinely trying to be a good person too, like with normal everyday struggles, and just a dip into it too. Like I love how the interpretation of like the Kent family and the Kent farm in this film too feels very homely, and like they're not like larger than life characters like how like a certain previous film like depicted them. Like yeah, exactly. Like they're just like a bunch of country folk that are like genuinely nice people.
Was that shade on Kevin Costner's Pa Kent? Was that what that was?
The iconic
100%.
Kevin Costner. I don't know what you're talking about.
The one where he holds out his hand and he stops him from saving him from
should I
fucking
just let them die? Maybe. Just the way that he says that is like in my head. I think it's in the trailer for Men of Steel. Maybe.
Someone really used that as like a selling point for the movie too. Which is...
It's like they thought it went so hard that they put it in the trailer.
I do agree with you. I just love how genuine and kind the Kents are. And I think they're just uncorrupted by the internet and brain rot, like they barely have a TV, and it's just live a simple life, man. They're just be good.
I actually saw a criticism of it that like they portrayed the Kents as like country bumpkins.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far.
Simple Midwest people,
Like they're saying that like it's a bad thing too.
I know. They seem like really nice parents,
They wanted them to play Fortnite on their iPads while they're talking to Clark real quick.
See you on the battle bus, Clark.
Exactly.
Do you think Pa Kent like to reconnect with his son while he's off in Metropolis, like plays Fortnite with him on the weekends to just catch up?
I think he does. Yeah. Isn't Superman in Fortnite? Didn't they do a crossover?
He is.
For Fortnite?
I have the skin. Yeah. It's canon, dude. He might have played him. I think it's so funny to imagine Pa Kent FaceTiming Clark and then him trying to like fit in, like, hey, 6'7", right, man? Like, haha. Fucking.
But that's the thing, though. I feel like not even like that inner universe Clark Kent is like connected with the internet either. because you even see how like ticked off he gets with something as simple as like a super shit
I thought that
hashtag
was so
too.
fucking funny, dude. I
Yeah.
don't know. I just honestly I do genuinely like David Cornsweet as Superman. I think my problem with him, I would say, is that I don't know if there's as much a distinction between Superman and Clark Kent. I think he's just one person. Like both of his personalities kind of just merge into one.
I feel like
agree with that criticism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I agree with that. I think that it's hard, right? Because you're like, I like him as the character of Superman,
Mhm.
but that doesn't feel like there's also the Clark Kent. There's that great scene of the with Lois and him arguing. Right, I
Mhm.
think it's like a 12-minute scene where they like do the mock interview in her apartment. One of you was saying this earlier, like how grounded that relationship felt with like very normal relationship problems, and I really I think that's really great. I think a weakness is like cut to the Daily Planet and his hair is like a little messed up and they're like, it's Clark. You know, he's not. I
Yeah,
think they were
yeah.
maybe afraid to go as hard as they did in 78 with him tripping on his papers and whoa, you know, like just being this like silly, goofy guy. I think they didn't want to go too hard with that. Maybe they were worried it would be too silly. I don't know.
To
I think you're
play
right.
devil's advocate a little bit too for like that interpretation of the movie about why they are so similar is maybe the interpretation of like Superman in this film was like how he's always Superman and Clark Kent is just like a guy's too, which is why even when he's Clark Kent, he's still very clearly Superman because that's like his inherent goal. Um, which is like how not I that's not how I interpret Superman overall too, but like I'm just guessing from like that's how the philosophy of this movie is going to with the um uh I'm reluctant to say like that one quote in Kill Bill that Tarantino says that I have mildly
that
mixed feelings about, but
that
yeah.
Clark Kent is the mask. And
Yeah.
I see.
But
I
with
think
that
what it
philosophy, I
is,
feel like that fits with this movie.
I could
I
see
think
that.
what it is that like I think James Gunn, when he wrote the movie, I think what he wanted to do is he wanted to make sure that the entire character of Superman / Clark Kent is one character. Like, he's not just a caricature and then his actual self. Like, everything combined is the character. I think that's what he was trying to go for.
I think that's a nice read of it. You're saying it's not like a failure of the film that Clark Kent is in this goofy guy,
Yeah,
like
I feel like it
caricature.
was.
You're
I
saying
feel
that
like
was
it was
built in
intentional.
to the
Yeah.
plan. Yeah, okay. I can see
I
that.
think more so it's like this is just a genuine good guy, and like yeah, he could be a little goofy sometimes, but like this is how you would act if you were Superman. Like you wouldn't be like Christopher Reeve like stumbling over like papers and stuff like that and dropping them. Like you would act a little like nonchalant and you'd be a little like proud of yourself for being Superman and interviewing yourself, and you'd be a little like vain like that. I think that's what he was trying to go for.
You wouldn't know you were in a movie and you needed to be kooky when you're the other character, right? He's just a dude. No. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Exactly. And even when he's Clark Kent too, like not to, like he's still very much like a country like Timbo Bumpkin too.
Yeah.
Like he's still saying
Eating
golly
cereal out
Exactly.
on the porch.
Yeah, he's still very
That's pretty
much
fire.
like still saying golly as Clark Kent and like having fun with Jimmy Olsen too, but he's still like a genuinely nice person. Like I feel like that upbringing still shines through when he's Clark Kent.
Does Jimmy Olsen get like as prominent of a role in the other Superman Donner movies as 2025?
I don't remember him that much in Superman 2, to be honest.
I can't say the same either. I feel it was
Okay.
I feel like the arc throughout most of those films is very much like a Superman and Lois type of, in terms of his circle. That you bring up like a good topic though. Like, what did you both think about Jimmy Olsen in this movie too?
I thought it was funny. I think overall I liked it. I think that I think the joke of like clearly attractive person or somebody's clearly not interested in treats somebody who's like attractive as ugly or like reacts as like repulsed by them. Like I feel like that's a little bit of like lowbrow, maybe a little lowbrow for me, but I did think it was funny, and I did like the performance, and I liked how it ended. I like that they sort of they like hug each other, and he seems kind of into it. Maybe I don't know.
I don't think he was into it, but I do know.
You
what
don't think he
you're
was?
saying. Yeah, no, I
Okay,
definitely don't think
okay.
he was into it.
Okay.
I think he was just stuck with the reality that like she's here now, and he can't really get rid of her.
Right, but there's kind of a meanness to that humor, right?
Yeah.
Like this woman is in like a weird position with Lex Luthor and is like maybe not the sharpest person ever, but like it feels a little bit like the comedy is at her expense when overall the movie feels really like heartwarming and like that wouldn't be where the humor would come from.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I've actually never heard anyone say that, but I do see where you're coming from, and I kind of agree a little bit.
It's
I
not
guess.
like it breaks the movie or anything.
Yeah,
It's
but
just like
it's definitely if you
yeah.
pick it out and you think about it,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, like that is kind of interesting that they did that.
But or you could sorry, Nate. Or you could argue, that like the joke is on Jimmy Olsen that he doesn't recognize that this person is attractive. I guess you could also like say the joke is on him. I don't know if you're being.
You do bring up a good point, though. I feel like out of all the characters that were like modernized in this film, Eve Taskmaster was like the one character that still feels like her 78 version with like some changes for better and for worse too.
Yeah. Oh man, I actually didn't think about that. She kind of is the same exact character. Like she's very she's not the brightest.
She's very bubbly.
She's very bubbly, but she helps move the plot forward in like a really big way, right? And she really is the same character kind of.
In Superman 78, she kind of saves the day. She literally saves Superman.
I think it's cute. I thought the selfies that caught Luthor doing bad things in the background, I thought that was funny.
It was like a funny, like unintentional. Wait, okay. Do you think she meant to do that, or do you think it was just a complete unintentional? Like,
I think it was unintentional.
What if she's a mastermind, dude?
She might have been. You probably could interpret that way, but I like that. Like we're introduced to her. She's doing that. You're like, oh, she's a vain, millennial or Zoomer on her phone kind of gal, and then like that actually comes useful later. I think that's
full
fun.
circle. Yeah. I also really like that. So I know we briefly touched upon Nicholas Hoult because I think Nate mentioned it. What did you think of Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, Baron?
I think he's great, and I think he's also my favorite Lex Luthor.
Okay.
I actually think that He Who Shall Not Be Named's performance in Superman Returns is actually pretty good. I actually kind of like it, but I think that Lex Luthor's is way better. And I did enjoy seeing him on the hit show Peacemaker. That was fun that he was on that.
Yeah, and that was the hit cameo of the season.
That really was. That was the big cameo. I actually kind of was expecting Superman, but it didn't happen.
Maybe it's better that way.
Maybe it is.
We'll touch upon Peacemaker. We'll get to Peacemaker a little bit later because I also really like the show and I do want to talk. I actually didn't know you watched Peacemaker.
I watched.
So this is like
I'm totally caught up.
Shit. Okay, this is like a totally impromptu thing. Then we'll totally get to that later. Hey guys, Editor Robert. We did technically get to Peacemaker. Technically, it adds another 40 minutes, and we didn't really say a lot. I think. So yeah.
Yeah.
But I also really like Nicholas Hoult as Lex because like he's just a fucking asshole. Like he is literally the textbook definition of a supervillain. Like he's the pettiest motherfucker ever, and I love that.
I mean, the scene where he gets super upset, angry, and he just like breaks the mug for no reason, and he even tosses up other stuff on the table too. Just to have a power trip over his like little minions cleaning up over him too.
Yeah,
he's just like a smart man baby, and I think that's such a like cool take on it. I feel like it was like trying to be like a better version of Jesse Eisenberg in a way, where it's like he's kind of goofy, but he takes himself super seriously. He's playing it straight.
What's that terrible Jesse Eisenberg line in Batman v Superman? There's so many, but
you're
there's
not
still
narrowing
like
it down at all.
Yeah,
I'm not narrowing it down, but he's like something is like for little minds or whatever. Like that's just what bites.
No
right.
bites. I tried to forget about BVS.
I really like how much Lex Luthor like hates Superman. It feels like so visceral, his hatred. And I feel like that's a normal thing. Like the villain hates the hero. But that always, to me, has always felt like, darn you, you've disrupted my plans. You know, it feels like personal with this Lex, like because he doesn't understand. You know, he almost doesn't understand the appeal of like just being nice and like being like. I think that none of that makes sense to him, and I think that he hates that part of Superman. And I think that Nicholas Holt does a really, really great job of like conveying that. Like if you just picture him in your head right now as Lex Luthor, his eyes are like fucking
It's
livid,
like
right?
white
Like
as fuck. Like he's about to yell.
it's
His
just
face
like,
is about to get
yeah.
red.
No, there's literally he has a vein popping out of his forehead too. He's I also love the fact that in Florence, like towards the end of the film, he's so upset, he's literally crying.
Yeah.
He's literally crying because of how
Yeah.
much he hates Superman 2,
Man.
especially oh my that moment at the end is so perfect when he loses about the fact that like one, he's getting exposed for his crimes, and on top of that too, to like the kicker is the fact that everyone's opinions on Superman suddenly flipped again too, where they suddenly love him and he's hearing that little news broadcast and he's literally crying and like bleeding too, like a little like child having a tantrum too, which is literally perfect.
I think what it was is that he has like single child syndrome, where he thinks he's
Only
just
child
like
syndrome?
only child syndrome, where he's like, oh, like I don't know if I want to bring God into this, but maybe he feels that like he's the chosen one, you know, like he can do no wrong and he's the best person there is because he's the smartest person there is, and then up comes Superman, someone that like he in his mind everything's just been given to him, and like he shouldn't be as like recognized or as loved as Lex, but he is to the general public because he's not a fucking asshole, and he's also not a capitalist.
He didn't
Yeah,
use his wits to get where he got, but
Yeah,
Lex
yeah,
Luthor
exactly.
did, right?
He
He
didn't
fought
pull
hard
himself
for
up by
his.
his bootstraps and rise
But
to
they
the
don't
top.
like me that much. I work so hard and they still don't really like me.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Oh,
like
man.
you also bring up a good like point too. He literally mentions it in the film how like he hates how alien Superman is, how he kind of just as he's helping he feels like he's really genuinely benefiting society. All of a sudden this random alien pops up and everyone loves him while he's kind of just sitting there in the corner like pouting too. I mean, he literally compared that really fantastic monologue where he's comparing himself to Galileo and like other smart minds too, where he truly acknowledges like his hate for Superman is like genuine too, which is
Yeah.
what I really love about the film, how like it lets itself have monologues like that where they're really just like saying what they feel.
Yeah.
I think as fucked up as it is to say, I'm glad that Nicholas Hoult didn't get casted as Superman because I think he did such a good fucking job as Lex Luthor that I just can't imagine anybody else as Lex Luthor right now.
Was he in the running for Superman?
He was.
I feel
He
silly. I didn't
also
know that.
auditioned
Okay.
for Superman and he lost
Yeah.
it to David.
Okay.
According to the because I did watch the behind the scenes documentary too.
I really want to
recently.
watch that. I haven't seen that yet. I heard that's really good.
It is a very like it gives you some very nice insight about the movie too. Like like even Nicholas Hoult has the anecdote about like how when he heard James Gunn took over for Superman, apparently he like texted him and messaged him himself saying he wants to be in the running to like play Superman and like audition too just to feel how it is being in that suit. And even he knew deep inside too, where even reading the script, he felt more attracted to the Lex Luthor role.
Hmm.
And on top of just to dip into more of the documentary a little bit too, two of the biggest things I noticed about the documentary is the two scenes they highlighted and like that feel the most personal to James Gunn. Excuse me, is the 10-minute or the scene where Lois is interviewing Superman as like a 10-page dialogue scene, which they really emphasize multiple times throughout that documentary, where they really feel like having a 10-page dialogue scene in a superhero film is unheard of too. Like they feel like they do or like is something subversive to do too, which is I feel like reflects on the climate of like the superhero movies today too, but also like really shows like the genuine direction they're going with this movie, and they like I'll mention it later when we get to talking about that scene too. But that scene at the end of the movie where it's like Superman's monologue about being human too is something they really like want to focus on too, which is like really shines throughout the final product.
I did see that clip of David Cornsweet like talking to James Gunn about like getting that monologue right and like what was the intention behind his words, and they seem like really passionate about it. It's really cool.
Funny you mentioned that. I did like that clip. I saw that people were like, dude, I don't know how this fucking movie worked. They're like fighting with each other behind set. Like
What?
I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I was like,
genuine
these are two
collaboration.
people that
Normal.
genuinely love the source material that they're pulling from, and they're trying to give their best like effort into it to not mess it up, and that's
Yeah.
how I thought it was a beautiful moment. I really liked it.
It is anecdote wise, it is funny how James Gunn described it in behind the scenes, because what is it? He was describing how the rest of because how David Cornsweet was always the one who questioned, so he'd kind of halt production in the sense where like he'd always like question like James Gunn's authority too, for like in the best way too, but also like everyone like kind of just wants to get through the shoot. But yeah, I like that kind of like little clip too is like what I love the most about, or what I really always hope to see in these behind the scenes documentary, where it's really just like two artists like collaborating and like just
Yeah.
having that kind of conversation with each other too, which I really loved about the documentary.
I thought it was really funny. I think I saw someone say that it was completely scripted, and I was like, I don't know, dude. I think they're too passionate to be like scripted, like that
I
exchange
agree.
between those two. But
I
Because-
feel
yeah.
like it was pretty genuine.
No, for sure,
Yeah.
it was. Yeah,
Especially coming from the fact that I can genuinely see what David Cornsweet is trying to communicate about his confusion, and I can also see what James Gunn is trying to communicate through what he's trying to like say to David Cornsweet too, which is like why I also love that clip too, where it's very easy to understand them both as like artists who really passionate about the source material.
it was a genuine breakthrough moment, and I think that people that just haven't made a film like like they just can't get it,
People that haven't made movies
Yeah, yeah,
like
exactly.
us. As
Yeah, because
have
we
made
make the
films.
best movies,
Yeah.
of course.
We were also in the running to be involved with Superman, but we're cut
Yeah.
pretty
Oh,
close to.
Baron, I
yeah.
heard you were actually runner-up in Lex Luthor's casting.
Oh, fuck you.
I mean,
You know, I was in a bath. I don't know if this is relevant, but I was in a bathroom at Union Station in
Yeah.
Yeah.
in LA. I was in a bathroom, and this guy, I don't know, he's maybe 50, walks up to me and he uses the sink next to me. We're washing our hands, and I don't know this man, and he like turns and he looks at me and he goes, "Hey, Peter Parker."
Wait, but isn't that kind of fire though?
I was like, okay, what's up, man? He's like, nah, man, I'm just kidding. It's a compliment, though, man. Like, seriously, you look like, yeah, you know what He's like clearly
Dude.
on something.
I
And
think if he
then-
called me Peter Parker, I think I'd be cheesing, bro. I think I'd be like, yeah, I am
and
Peter
then,
Parker.
I left the bathroom and I heard him like muttering behind me, and he's like, I wish I was Spider-Man.
I don't know what's funnier, the fact that he was like so like messed up that he might have mistaken you for Tom Holland, or he just
No, I don't
genuinely
think
thought you
he
looked
did
like
not
Peter
think
Parker.
I was Tom Holland. He did not. I think that he was just like trying to be silly in the
No,
bathroom
no.
at Union Station.
I see.
right, because
I
he
see.
actually thought you were Andrew Garfield.
Right, yeah.
exactly.
I can see it, man. I don't know.
Dude, it was just the confidence. It was like, hey, Peter Parker. And like, he was so confident.
Look, man, he just got out of his comfort zone for a little bit. That was his first like step of the day, and then I mean, it depends if you shout on him or not, but you might have ruined his day too.
I mean,
Dude, he's going to listen to this.
No, there's
honestly,
no
what you
way.
should have done is like played along too, and like try to shush him too. It's like, hey, don't tell anyone.
Dude, imagine like you
I'm
threw
him.
your little fist up in like a web shooter like pose, like. Oh fuck!
Like,
dude.
I sorry, man. I got to go. Zendaya's calling me.
Exactly, dude. Holy shit. Fuck. going back to Superman a little bit. I know we talked about Margot Kidder as Lois. How do you guys feel about Rachel Brosnahan as Lois?
I thought she was great. I wanted more, I think, but her like 10-page dialogue scene was great. I don't know. I thought she was very like headstrong, and she had that kind of sassy reporter, and like I thought she was great.
Yeah. What do you think, Nate?
I loved the nuance with their character where, like the complaint you were having before about the previous film about, like this Rachel's like performance as like Lois Lane, she's not head over heels about, or Clark Kent too. Like she even mentions about like thinking about breaking up with him too and everything. Like feels like which makes the relationship feel genuinely real too, where these are two very different people, but they somehow find a way to love each other too, which makes it even more beautiful. And also the fact that like you can also understand why Lois loves Superman so much too, because of her background being so like headstrong and like cynical, while also like seeing like Clark Kent as this one exception about like, because he's so human and so nice too, which makes their relationship just makes sense too. And I love the amount of agency she has in this film
Yeah.
too. I mean, she's even driving the plot too in a certain segment of the film too, which I really love how she's written this film.
I do agree. I really like how she just feels like her own character. Like she doesn't need Superman or Clark to like be next to her 24/7. Like she just kind of does her own thing, and it's pretty cool.
Also, I love the little like character detail or like the little scene where she's putting like 50 pounds of sugar in her own coffee too, and like that's just how she takes it. Honestly, too,
Yeah,
it's just like
yeah.
just feels right for a character.
That's true. Like it. Speaking of Superman family, actually, what'd you guys think about the twist that his parents are evil?
I like the twist a lot.
Mhm.
I think that we've done a great version of, they will follow you into the sun and you will be an inspiration. Like
Yeah.
okay. Okay, that was Russell Crowe in Man of Steel. But you know what I mean? Like the idea that his parents just want the best for him and see him as a guiding light for humanity, that has been done and has been done very well. I
Mhm.
think it was fun to see something else. I think my biggest complaint about it was that it was Bradley Cooper, and I just was watching it and I was like, "Oh, you don't look at that and think, "Oh, that's Jor-El." You're like, "Holy shit, is that fucking
It's
Bradley,
Bradley
Cooper?"
Cooper.
And I just feel like it just takes away from that.
I see.
I don't know. It kind of bugged me.
No, I get what you mean too. I was the same way too, where I couldn't help but see Bradley Cooper, especially like in terms of casting too. I literally can't see David Cornsweet coming from Bradley
No,
Cooper's DNA
no.
at all, especially with that look too. Like, um, but yeah, I am on the same page with you, where even to reference like how James Gunn justified that change too, because he's looking for little tweaks to make to his lore, while that also supports like the character too. Like I also like the fact that the main conflict of the film too is the fact that like he's struggling with his own identity too, being so antithetical to like who he truly is as like a truly nice person, and his bloodline kind of portraying that. But at the end of the day, like after reconnecting with his dad, like he still knows like what makes him him is just like being Superman and a nice guy that was raised in like Smallville too. Like I really think it was a nice twist on the lore too, especially like just like to like the dip into the reactions to that twist. I don't think people really cared about that much about Jor-El too, really, to really care about a twist like that, which is why I was surprised to the reaction to it.
I think people
Jor-El
just
is
don't know
like
ball.
the number one. The Jor-El merch has been flying off the shelves, man. I don't know what you're talking about. Everybody
people,
loves Jor-El.
Like, I think Jor-El and Laura. I feel like I'm saying her name wrong because it sounds like such a human name.
Isn't it Laura L? Laura L? Fuck.
It might be.
Laura
Superman's
L,
mom.
maybe.
Jamie, Jamie,
think...
pull up the clip. Who's Superman?
It's Laura. It's Laura.
It really is Laura.
Yeah.
That sounds so wrong. Okay.
Her full maiden name is Lore Van.
Ah.
Lara
So-
Lore Van is her.
Okay, so I'll just call her Superman's mom. Uh, it just
Jor-El and Lara.
well, that's what I'm saying. I think people misconstrue how like godly they are. Like I feel like they just act like Jor-El and Laura are like the pinnacle of like what a role model parents are supposed to be. Like they're basically god figures, and they're like, oh, like you do this, son, and you're gonna become their Jesus type of deal in Man of Steel. Yeah. But I like the fact that his parents were, you know, maybe a little evil. I don't know. I see the theory being brought up that the message was possibly doctored. I don't think so, to be honest. I kind of like it if it wasn't doctored. If it was straight up like they just wanted him to like continue Kryptonian life like on Earth or whatever, because it kind of plays into the fact, the story beat, that like Superman is who he is not because of his bloodline but because how he was raised and him as a genuine person, and that his parents, it doesn't matter for all that shit, you know, his blood parents, it's just how he is as a person. That's the most important part. It doesn't matter where you come from, is what you do. And I like that part. Other than that though, like I actually didn't know it was Bradley Cooper until you brought it up, and now I can't unsee it.
Yeah, he popped up, and I was like, "Is that fucking Bradley Cooper?" You know,
Yeah.
I'm not a Bradley Cooper. I'm not a stan. I don't dislike the man. He does a fine raccoon voice, but
Fine cameo in Abbott Elementary too.
I have not watched that.
He had a cameo in Abbott Elementary?
Yeah. He's playing himself. It's actually kind of fire.
Okay.
But yeah.
That sounds cool. I think my favorite thing about the 2025 film is that it does feel like it has like that story through line of the parents and your relationship with your parents, and at the end when they're like, shall we play the video of your parents, and then it's like it's his actual parents, or it's his Earth parents. And then the song comes on, and then the camera starts spinning, and I'm like, yeah, I really like that.
I actually cried during that part, I think.
It's so good.
Yeah,
it is genuinely.
It was pretty fucking good. I
don't
usually cry in movies.
Of the cameraman, like, running around with the camera?
No, but I can imagine it in my head.
Yeah.
He's just, like, speeding around there, too, like, around the camera. It's, like, it's kind of funny, but also, it's, like, charming to watch, too, because that's, like, actual, like, very, like a filmmaking moment. Yeah,
like it funny.
I will say though, the one gripe I have about that whole Jor-El stuff too, or like that plot line to like the reaction to it too, I don't know, it's just a small personal gripe, but like I feel like they fixated too much on like calling it like Superman building his own harem too. Basically,
that felt like a very James Gunn thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I think James Gunn is just a freak,
funny.
Dude. James Gunn is just a little freak, man.
I get what you're saying. It definitely was like, there's a couple things in the movie, and you're like, okay, Jimmy fought for that one to make it make it onto the screen.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he fought at all. Actually, if anything, I feel like it's the opposite. It's like, oh, I own DC, so no one's gonna talk back against me for this decision, so I'm just gonna throw that in there too.
It's like that scene in Scooby-Doo 2 where Velma walks down the stairs in her latex costume, you know?
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know if you're familiar with this, Baron, but James Gunn originally wanted Superman to be edited into 5 different days of the week, or I think it was 7.
I'm familiar with this.
Oh, okay.
I've seen the cut, the edit that has the the titles reinserted or whatever.
Do you think they should have kept that, or do you think it's fine the way it is?
I think that I don't really have a strong opinion about it. I think that it's cute to do the days of the week. I think I would have liked it. I think it's a good inclusion solely on the fact that the reason for it being pulled was really dumb. Right? Like the reason for it not being included is dumb, so therefore I think it should have been included. That it was too confusing to audiences.
Really?
Right?
That's the reason?
That they wouldn't understand like what was happening with that, which is so stupid. I think people know the days of the week. But they were worried it would be too confusing, is my understanding.
But that's how I feel like though. Like if anything, I feel like it's a little confused. The edit is a little confusing without it too, because a lot of the scenes in the movie kind of just jump to the next day.
Because they fade
Like,
to
it's a
black
hard cut.
sometimes. Like they straight up just like you can tell something was supposed to be there. Like
Yeah.
I think I would have preferred to see the days of the week. Like after hearing them talk about it, like my brain was like, oh, that makes sense. There's so many times
Yeah.
where it just literally cuts to black, and then like all of a sudden like the next day happens, and I'm just like, huh. I mean, I guess that makes sense, but I would have liked them to keep it in. I think they definitely missed out. I also think that's a dumb reason that people wouldn't get it.
So stupid, dude.
Did you guys have an issue with the pacing of this film? Like comparative to 78?
It's really fast. I feel like things
Yeah.
happen so fast, and I think this second act drags a little bit, and the underworld stuff, and the prison in the other dimension. I feel like that drags a little, but other than that, I felt like it was very well paced.
I also agree with Baron in the sense where I feel like the film moved a bit too fast for me too, which is why it would have really helped me personally if like they did the days of the week edit with it too, because I feel like the film is very much built like a 7 issue, like to fit in that kind of like comic world too,
Yeah.
and also very episodic too, because like I feel like some scenes kind of just jumped from one to the other too, especially in like the earlier parts of the film where it felt a bit too fast for me. Like I'd even go as far as to say too, I wish the film started earlier than what was mentioned. Like I kind of wish I got to see that like whole like or him Superman kind of like intervening with Jar and Poor too, instead of it being like a text card too, and getting to truly like see that scene in general would have made personally the whole like core of the film feel more powerful for me too, especially with how much they reference it throughout the film. But yeah, most of my pacing issues throughout the film, if anything, are like the opposite of 78, where I feel like this film kind of moves by too fast too, which is why like the slower moments like him at the Kent farm too is really like some of my more like the type of scenes I like more in the film as well.
All right. Well, I think that's all we're going to have time for today, guys. But, you know, I really appreciate you coming on to the podcast, Baron, and I appreciate your thoughts about both Superman movies. All right. This has been the Mom Said No podcast. My name is Robert.
And I'm Nathan.
Do I get to say goodbye?
You can. Yeah, go ahead, dude.
Yeah. Can I? I thought this is like a place I can like push my stuff.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
dude.
of
Go
course.
ahead. Go
You
ahead.
can like free plug too. I mean, it's
Okay.
really-
Yeah. I don't know if you guys are familiar with. No, I don't have anything to plug. It was really fun to hang out with you guys and talk about soups. And I hope to one day return and talk to my friendos.
Of course, dude. Of course.
Yeah.
Genuinely, that's nice to hear.
All right.
Cool.
Everybody say bye.
More than welcome,
Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I say bye now.
Bye.
Podcast ending. Bye.
And-